Hello, RoyZesch.REALTOR, Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you about the house buying process. Now there's a lot of steps if you've never done it before, and it seems like it's an overwhelming thing you got to go through. So I want to start to walk you through the process. It's going to take multiple videos to do this, so don't think I'm going to try to cover it all in one. Already talked about getting pre-approved, which is generally the best at the first step, and choosing a realtor. So after you've chosen your realtor, RoyZesch.REALTOR, then here's what I think is going to happen from that point on. And there's some variables in the process, but more or less this is the way it works. The best thing to do first is you and I will sit down. Whoever the decision makers are, husband, wife, sometimes parents are involved, somebody else is helping, whoever the decision makers in the process are going to be, we'll all sit down together, have a little conversation. We're going to talk about what you're looking for in a house, what neighborhood you want to be in, what area, what school districts, what price range, what amenities you need. You need a pool, you don't want a pool, large backyard, small backyard, low maintenance, lots of bedrooms, all those kind of variables. And the reason we try to do this sitting down in the office is because sometimes you're looking at houses, you do it a little bit at a time, and it really helps me if going into the process I know pretty much what you're looking for. Now there's going to be things you change your mind on. You're going to see a house that has something you say you want, and you're like, no, never mind, I don't want that. That's fine. But we just want to sit down and try to work out what you're looking for in the process. The next step is, once we've got this, is I'll sit down, go over the multiple listing service and print you out a list or email usually so you can look at them digitally, you can see the pictures, better videos and that kind of stuff, a list of houses that meet your criteria, or I think meet your criteria. Then you can kind of whittle through those and say, okay, well here's a handful we want to go see, whatever, 4 or 5 you want to go see. So another thing that will happen somewhere around this point, not always, is I'll ask you to sign a buyer's representation agreement. So, but what this agreement is, it's really a legal contract that you're hiring me as your real estate agent. So up to this time, I'm working for the general public. But after you sign this agreement, I'm working for you in this home buying process. I've agreed to represent you to do what's best for you in every step of the process. So I'll ask you to sign that, and again, typically we do them for a period of time, but at any time if you don't like working with me, you can fire me and try to find somebody else. So we'll get that signed, and then we'll start looking at houses. So you'll look at 4 or 5. We'll have discussions about what you liked and didn't like about each of the houses. Sometimes it's not that many, sometimes it's more, whatever, however it works in your case. We'll look at the houses. We'll narrow them down. You'll think of things that you didn't think of when we sat down and had our meeting. After you see them in a house, and oh, really, I want that, but I don't like this house. You know, and just working through the process. But one thing you do have to understand, and I mentioned in a previous video, is that you're never going to find a house that has 100% of what you want. If you have this list of criteria, what is ultimately going to probably end up with is you're going to find a house that has 80% of the things you want, and you just have to settle at some point. You find it, even people that custom build a home, that think they do everything they wanted. Here's what we want exactly in the house. And yet they get in it and think, oh, but we don't like this, and stuff like that. So you're never going to go for 100%. So if you set a standard at 100%, it's got to be perfect. You may be disappointed. So we'll look at houses. We'll narrow it down. And as in that discussion, you may open up a few more houses. Well, what about this? Maybe you should look at these. Maybe you should look at these others, whatever. Or you may say, well, that price range isn't high enough. I need to see if I can get pre-qualified for more. Maybe you can change the information. Or maybe you say, well, we can actually go to a lower price range. We're pre-qualified for $225, but let's just stay below 200, because the houses you see even at 200 are ones you like. So work through the process, walk along until you find the house that you're ready to make an offer on. And again, for different people, this is different. You may be a first-time home buyer. You think you're going to be in this home 5 or 6 years. Maybe you're going to have children in the home, whatever, but you're not buying the homes you're going to be in for the rest of your life, the next 30 years. Or you may be military, moving into town. You're only going to be in town 4 years. You know, you need a home to live in. Yes, it's going to be your home for 4 years, but you're not committed to it. You're not going to be there forever, so you can make more adjustments in exactly what you want. So we'll walk through that process until you found the home. Then comes the offer process. And basically this usually starts with presenting a written offer to the seller's agent, the agent that works for the seller of the house you want. So we go in, and there's really a few things. I mean, the contract is multiple pages long, 10 or 12 pages long, but there's really about 5 or 6 things you're going to be negotiating as you work through the contract. And that is obviously the price. Second is the seller pays closing costs. So a lot of times if a home buyer doesn't have a lot of money to put down into the house at first, one of the things you have to put your down payment down, but you also have to bring your buyer closing costs when you come to the table. So a lot of times a buyer will ask the seller to pay a portion of the closing cost. And really it's just changing the price. It doesn't matter to the seller whether it's closing costs, you raise the price and any closing costs, but for the buyer it's a big deal because it means you have to bring less money to the table, and basically that difference is in your loan, and then it's therefore spread out over 20 or 30 years. So price, closing costs, sometimes a home warranty, and then the dates, sometimes the time frame. How quick do you want to close? How quick does the seller need to close? Everybody's got their time frames they need to deal with, and so you just got, those are basically the points you're negotiating on at this point. So you go back and forth on that. Again, it starts as a written process because that shows that you're serious about it. But once the first offer goes and they come back with a counter offer, typically then it's done verbally after that point until you come to an agreement, and then you write up a written offer that everybody gets to sign. More paperwork. There'll be tons of paperwork in this process. Don't be overwhelmed. Ask what it means, understand it, and then be ready to go. So now we've negotiated down. We've agreed on all these points and we have a contract. So we're going to stop there for today. We'll go into some more details in the next week or two and what happens from that point on. So we've got a contract. Congratulations, you're about to buy a house. RoyZesch.REALTOR, 325-268-0775. Thank you.